Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Today, we have a heart-led leader, speaker, and coach, passionate about helping others rise. Her journey has been anything but linear, from caregiving and heartbreak to reclaiming her voice and purpose. She believes leadership isn't a title, it's how you show up. Now, she empowers growth-minded individuals and teams to lead with authenticity, confidence, and heart. Because you don't need permission to lead, you just need the courage to own your light. Help me give a warm welcome to the amazing Jen Sellar. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Angel. It's so great to be here with you today.
You're amazing. Oh my God. I love the fact you said it wasn't linear because
anything but.
I love the honesty that you have because so many of us as entrepreneurs haven't had this easy, like, ooh, it's always a ebb and flow that we have. So what transpired in your life to get you to become the entrepreneur you are today?
Oh, it's such a long, long journey. And it really was all in the making, I feel like is the best way to describe it. It's something that I think, just like many people, I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurs in my world. So to even know that that was an option or possibility when I was trying to figure out what my path was, I just had no idea that this would be where I am today. So it's very cool to look back and connect all those dots. For me, I was always sort of driven towards that family orientation. I always wanted to be a mom. That was my only clear 100% path. In fact, when I was 4 years old, my parents always told everybody this story. So I'm going to share it with you. I dressed up as a bride for Halloween at the age of 4. And I was out there prancing, and everybody that answered the door were looking at my parents like, she's a bride at 4? Like, how old is she? Yeah, I was a bride. I wanted to have kids, and I knew I had to get married. And, I grew up in a Catholic family, so that I knew the steps that came with that. And that was my driving North Star. But you can't just become a mom. You have to figure out, what else you're going to do. And so throughout high school, you get to the end, and I thought, what am I going to do? I thought I might want to be a teacher. And at the time, I had a couple of teachers that were amazing, and another bunch that were just really seemingly hating life and not enjoying what they were doing. So I thought, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. So I went into physical education and sports studies and got a degree in that, now more well known as kinesiology. But that kind of created that career for my first 10 years. And I was always very athletic and always playing on teams and individual sports. So it was a very natural environment for me to be in. And I was very comfortable. So I think that's what kind of led me there. And throughout that path, I realized this isn't really a career that I can have for longevity or sustainability. So I ended up, trying to figure out what was next. And after moving across the country, trying all kinds of different things in my brain and thinking about different things, what would work, I ended up, getting into a private school all the way across the country. And I got to teach, but not as a full-fledged teacher because I didn't have that certification. But it was a great opportunity. And I got to coach teams. I got to create a curriculum for kindergarten through grade 9 kids at this school, teach all of them. And it was unbelievable. And that was probably one of my really biggest proud leadership coaching moments, that when we fast forward to now looking back, it's like, yeah, this has been, in the making for so long. But I think what really, really drove me to do this are the more challenging moments I've experienced, unfortunately, the sad, really stressful moments, which were, going through a really nasty divorce, losing both my parents and being the caregiver for both of them when they were quite young, both of them, 55 and 58 years old. They passed away. I had my first daughter at the time that I was dealing with all this as well. And then after my dad passed away, I had my second daughter, and then my mom got sick, and I was taking care of these 2 kids as a new mom, and then parents at the same time. And
Wow.
unfortunately, in a marriage that was very much not the right fit. It wasn't right at all. And it was very, very difficult and very challenging. And I won't get into the gory details of that. But um, all of that kind of kept going. And then once my parents were passed away and I realized my marriage was kind of non-existent, it pushed into divorce. And then it was, okay, now what? I have these two little kids. I have to start over.
Mhm.
What am I going to do? And I had a great girlfriend who was kind of in a similar situation with two kids and a single mom, and was like, get into real estate. Real estate is the most flexible, career you can get into. You can still be a good mom, you can make good money, which there's some truth in that. But what I didn't realize is the demands. And for my personality, I'm a real giver and a lover, and I just embrace everyone as my family. I want to take care of people and help them. And it burnt me out in a really, really, really short time, like 5 years, health problems, the whole deal. So now I had to reassess again. And I wasn't quite ready to let go of that. So I moved into
Mhm.
development with real estate developers. And this happened just prior to COVID. And when I was just about to get my role sorted out and finalized with this new company, COVID hit and they said, "Whoa, we're putting on a hiring freeze. So sorry, we can't go ahead with this." And so that fell apart quickly and then it was restarting again. So it's been this long, I don't know. I don't want to say horrible journey because I like to look at it all as learning.
Mhm.
There's so much learning and so much growth that's happened through these things. And when I went forward into a couple more roles that people thought I would be good at that didn't turn out to be the right fits for me, it was so inevitable that I was ignoring this huge fire and light inside of me that was being pushed away and pushed down by these other things that I was trying out. And God love these people who were supporting me and trying to push me into these things they thought that I would be good at, but it just didn't work. And so finally, like I said to you when we spoke earlier, like how many times you're gonna get slapped in the face with this thing that's like right here. Hello. So it was all about the leadership and coaching that it came back to. I love that teaching job I had, way back across the country, prior to kids. I always loved coaching. I was coached a bunch of teams growing up. Even when I was playing sports, I'd coach the younger teams. When I was in university, I coached a high school basketball team with my girlfriend. And it's just always been this thing. And people have always come to me for advice. People feel safe to tell me their whole life stories, whether they're perfect strangers or really good friends and family. And I just thought to myself, this is something that I always thought was normal for everybody. But as you get older and you learn more and you get into different circles, you realize how different and unique you are. And we all are. And everybody has such a big gift to share with the world. And I finally just went, I think it's time. I think everything's been hitting me, and pushing me in this very non-linear direction.
Well, you had to go through those challenges.
Right?
You had
And
to. It's if
yes,
you
you do.
if you didn't, you wouldn't have found that, oh my God, and realize, oh my God, that is my true passion.
Oh,
That leadership role, leadership coach, that's who I am.
exactly. So I'm very, very grateful. As much as I wish I would have gotten here sooner, it's true. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have had all those experiences. I wouldn't understand other people and other circumstances and companies and all the different, as much as I went through this weird phase after real estate there and worked for 3, 4 different companies within a matter of 4 or 5 years, it took me through companies to realize where the lack was, where the gaps were, what people were complaining about, why they weren't happy, where the leadership gaps were, even people knowing themselves. And I'm a big believer in this intersection of the personal growth and development and the leadership development.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I really was able to just have my eyes opened to this huge gap that is needed out there. So yes, you're 100% right, Angel. It's
Yeah.
you have to go through those things to get to where you're going sometimes.
And you feel a need in the world, in the corporate business world, that so many people need, that leadership skills that they weren't taught yet,
No.
but you know how to teach it in a system that helps them
Hmm.
maneuver.
Yeah, it's been very, very rewarding to walk into, whether it's a small group or a larger group or one-on-one work that you do, and people are just they're soaking this up because what I think a lot of people don't understand is that in leadership, I think we've all been sold wrong on it, is the way I like to say it. We all think leadership is reserved for the CEO or the senior level managers, or you've got to have all these years of experience and education. And at the end of the day, we all are leaders within ourselves. We lead ourselves every day, but we, in a corporate role or a more career focused role, we look at it as it has to have certain credentials, and we're not prepared. We don't know what we're doing, but yet sometimes we get promoted into these roles and we're not given the support and the education and training we need. And when we don't even know who we are to start, how can we possibly be a great leader to influence others and to create the change that we want? So that's where my big passion and focus really is, the foundation of all those things I was just talking about. There's like this gap between knowing who we are so that we can inspire and empower others to lead and lead by example so that they can follow. And then it's just this natural ripple effect.
So you've been an entrepreneur for a while now because you were in real estate, you moved through. I mean, your children were younger.
Yes.
How
Very
old
young.
were they when you got into real estate?
So my ex-husband and I separated when they were 3 and 5, and it would have been a year and a half later, I think, by the time I got through a little bit of the divorce stuff and then the training to become the realtor and licensed. I think it would have been a year and a half later.
So about
So yeah,
5 and 7. So grammar school. So the
yes.
question is how did you balance it then? And how have you balanced working, as an entrepreneur going forward because your children now are what ages?
They are now 20, just turned 20 in March, and then my younger one will be 18 in 5 days.
Okay, you are perfect for this answer because you have that wide span to help female entrepreneurs understand, okay, yeah, we sort of did this during this time age group, but as I got older, I was able to do this. So you mind sharing?
Yeah. So, first of all, the word balance is something that I've struggled with. And I think over the years, I've switched this in my brain and I use the word integration. And, we tell ourselves whatever we need to make it through. But I think that the hardest part is when you try to balance, because a balance means they're equal, right? On either side. If they're like this, they're not balanced. If they're like this, they're not balanced. So when we integrate, which is inevitable in life now, our work comes home with us. We can't escape it. Even back when my kids were, as young as they were when I started real estate, they were coming to work with me often. I was running to their activities. I was a single mom at the time going through a nasty divorce. There just wasn't enough time in the day. So how did I balance it back then? I didn't. It was horrible.
Mhm.
I ran myself into the ground. I found myself sleeping, 3-4 hours on average per night. By the time I did all my work at the beginning of the day, got them to school and activities, and then worked again later in the evening. I was also just new to real estate at that point. So I'm building the business, and you're in that like please everybody jump phase, right? Trying to get those clients and give everyone the best service. And that's just me in general. So I couldn't really back off. And then it's that constant pull and feeling torn between trying to be the good mom and trying to be the realtor and, the sister and like everything in my life. It was just too much. So I did not balance it at all. And then that equaled burnout, unfortunately. So since then, fast forward to now and all the way in between, I really learned a lot from that burnout. I learned that I was ignoring the signs early on, which then pushed me into a much greater impact as far as my health was concerned, that took me longer to get recovered from as well. Still to this day, I can't do what I did back then. And I don't think it's just because I'm that much older. I think I burnt myself out to a crisp that my brain and body can't handle that same load anymore. So I've become very aware of that, which I think is the biggest piece, that self-awareness, to know your limits, know your boundaries. And then I've had to give myself permission. And it's funny because every year I give myself a word when it's the new year rather than a resolution. And this year's word, again, and I used it several years ago, was permission. And
Oh,
it's such a powerful word, Angel. Like when I just say it, I give myself permission to just be, to take rest when I need to really go hard and stay up all night when I need to, if I have to, and then recover the next day, whatever it might be. I think that integration and that permission is what allows us, especially as women, juggling all those hats, if it's mom and businesswoman and wife or girlfriend or whatever, sister, caregiver, all those things, that you can let a little bit of one go to get the other one when that one takes priority. So it's really just shifting those priorities, what's most important at the time, because we can't do it all. And I'm a perfectionist, I'm a pleaser, I can do it all. You just, I have a hard time asking for help. Especially as the single mom for so long, I had to do everything. I had no parents around, I had no family around to help me. It was me doing it all. So it's really, really tough. But I think the burnout was almost a gift. I try to see the silver lining in all the stuff, but it taught me that I'm human. I have limits, I have boundaries, and I can't do it all. And the best thing I can do is to take that time to rest, to say no and to ask for help when I need it. So those were huge lessons for me.
So I love X in the balance question because I don't believe in balance either. So
Yeah.
I love it because I love the way you guys come back and like, no, there's no
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
And then I am sure. And here's another thing I'm going to bring up because I want you to expand on this because of the burnout that you had and you teach leadership. I am so sure you have an integration part in there to help them with burnout because that is one I'm sure you handle that on a daily basis. People coming to you saying, yeah, I'm in leadership, but I'm burnt out.
Well, and this is what I've really learned. I mean, we think of burnout as we're just trying to do too much all the time, right? The to-do list is too long. There's not enough hours in the day. Well, the hours never change and the to-do lists keep coming. So what I actually have really come to understand, and I try to help my clients with, is that it's not about always doing too much when it comes to burnout. It's about not being aligned with what's most important. And the ones that I have found to burn out the fastest and who are suffering the most. And really, I can relate to this so personally with the story I just told you, right? Like trying to do too much and not being aligned with really what my calling is and my purpose and all those things and trying to sacrifice the values. When you know what's most important to you, what your values are, and where your true passions and purpose are, you can work crazy hours and put in all this time and stretch yourself and not burn out. Like this is the weird thing that I've discovered through all these years talking to so many different people. But when you are in a place where you are not as happy, maybe you're doing it for the wrong reasons or you're feeling pressured or it's one of those like we all are shoulds. We should be doing this. We should be, I say stop shooting on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's so much easier to burn out because you're not enjoying what you're doing. It's sucking the energy and the life out of you every single day that you're in that position. So, alongside helping people with burnout that they're feeling just from immense overwhelm, that's all about a different kind of process, right? Like that's almost a strategic, kind of let's reframe. How are you managing your time? What are your expectations? What are you expecting of others? Are you micromanaging your teams or are you letting it empowering them so it's taking a load off you? Do you have the right supports in place at the office and maybe even if you're virtual, whatever, but at home too? And all this stuff, I find there's a really fine line between your work life and your home life because most of these principles and concepts can be applied to both. And I think a lot of people try and keep that strong barrier, or boundary and say, no, I have to be like this at work and I have to be like this at home. But if you can maintain those top values, those top things that are most important to you in your life in both settings, and they'll shift a little bit, of course, because you deal with slightly different things, but your energy levels are going to be so much better throughout because you're not constantly in resistance with your inner core all day long, right? Does that make sense?
100%. I love having those. What are your top things that are the most important to you and living that true life?
Mm-hmm. That's what it's
That's
all about,
key.
right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a great tip for people. What other tip do you have for women who are trying to grow their businesses that might be
Oh,
struggling?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, we're all there. Like this is the
Mm.
thing. Probably there's a couple of really big ones and that have really resonated with me, whether I've heard them from a mentor or coach or whether I've lived them myself. I know I already mentioned I'm not great at asking for support or help, but honestly, when we are new entrepreneurs or we're even seasoned entrepreneurs, maybe we're pivoting or we're, in a place of growth, leaning on the right support system, surrounding ourselves with people who are doing those same things, who are willing to help us and mentor us, who we can ask questions. We don't feel stupid asking them anything at all. that support system and that network that you create for yourself is one of the most powerful, amazing things that we can do for ourselves, truly. And especially as women, I feel like, because most women aren't good at asking for help. Oh, we expect we can just do it all, right? So
We're super women.
exactly, we're all super women. Look at my cape. It's flying around back there. But that's a big one. And then the other one, I heard this from one of my mentors and it'll stick with me forever. But you need to stop comparing yourself.
Oh.
And so you're not comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And that is huge because especially today with the amount of, access we have to watch everybody else do their thing out there on platforms, you name it, we've all been there, seen it, done it. It's really tough to just stay aligned in our own lane and look back and give ourselves a pat on the back for how far we've come, all we've accomplished, all we've overcome, and really be proud of where we are today. And we still want to look ahead and have that vision, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself by saying, well, why am I not there yet? And somebody else, look at them. The person you're seeing that's, blowing it out of the water probably didn't just blow up overnight. So, you got to give yourself grace. You got to take action when you can. And I mean, I'm, like I said, recovering perfectionist. Take the imperfect, messy action. That's where you develop the self-trust to really believe that you can do it. You don't develop trust in yourself or the confidence until you start taking those steps. And I've learned this the hard way too. I'm a planner. I would plan all the stuff and do all the content and create the courses and create the training long before ever really stepping out there and asking if anybody wanted it. Well, it's not the best way to do it. And you can burn yourself out doing that because that's probably not the best way to spend your energy. You need to get out there in front of people and start making that impact and sharing those things with the world.
Yeah, I've done it. I get it. 100%. I've built the whole thing out and it just wasn't the right thing.
Exactly. Yep.
So knowing what you've learned in business so far, what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh my goodness. So I graduated high school at 17, and this is when I was trying to figure out what would I do. And I think that the best thing I would say is it's okay to not have all the answers. We always feel so much pressure. And I even see it in my daughters at their ages, right? I've got one that's finishing her second year of college out in the US and I'm in Canada, and the other one graduating this year, and talking to their friends in this period of time. So much pressure on them. Why do we expect any of ourselves and our kids and anyone to know what they want to do 100% when they're 17, 18 years old, going off to their next stages? Yep. So give yourself grace. You don't have to have it figured out. Just try something. Try something and see where it takes you. And don't be afraid to pivot because you're never stuck. Nothing's forever, right? Look at us, all of us entrepreneurs that, you and I talk to every day, and people, we're switching what we do all the time. It's not a one time off thing. You decide and you do it forever, right? So
yeah. So we have a girl, her name is Leah Leverage. She was on the cover of our May issue. She has something called Decision Day. Okay. Because she didn't know what she wanted to be. And they had something where she lives where everybody has to dress up who they want to become her senior year in high school. So she has a podcast called Decision Day. That is way cool. So if your daughter's like in limbo or whatever, it's a great podcast. If
I love that. Yeah, I have to check it out.
Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
for parents too. So it's really cool. And she's young.
I love it. It's such a good concept because parents, I think, are still stuck in the old traditional methods as well, thinking same thing, go to school, go to university, get a job, you're set. But that's not true in all cases. And there's so many other opportunities out there now that just weren't available so many years ago. So I think that's a great concept to explore more.
Yeah. I just wanted to put it out there. You might.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Never know. All right. What's one key strategy that has helped you advance in your career? And maybe it's something that helped you advance. Maybe it's something that you wanted to do and people said, oh, no, don't do that. But you finally did it and it worked.
I would have to say probably the biggest thing is just investing in myself. I know for a lot of us, especially when you're starting something new, or especially when, the finances are not the best at the beginning, you're not making a lot of money. It's tough to really put that money into a course or a program or a coach or a mentor. But the ROI, the return on investment of that, I am like a lifelong learner. I'm such a curious human. If I could get paid to learn, I would be a multi-billionaire. Like,
I'm addicted. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I have an addiction. I get it.
fellow addicted. I love it. We're fellow addicts to the learning. So I've always loved to learn, but I think when you're starting something new, it's even more important to recognize that there's been so many people that have gone before us. They've forged the path. They have made the mistakes. They have learned all the stuff. They have strategies, methods, procedures, whatever that can help you, especially if you're, making these pivots later in life, like some of us are, to get you to a place of scaling and learning and growing and marketing, all of it just so much faster in a way that makes sense and in a way that you can, you still create your own, because their method doesn't necessarily exactly work for you, but you can take bits and pieces of these courses and programs and coaches that you invest in and then create your own system that works for you. And it has been life-changing for me with some of the ones. And I've invested in some that haven't been great either. You got to figure out what aligns.
Right.
But I do believe investing in yourself is, again, it's going to change everything for you. It's I can't even put a word to it really, but it's invaluable.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a junkie. I call it a junkie.
Yeah.
I'm a
We need a
junkie for
support group.
education. I know. We do.
Yeah.
Hey, can you share any future plans that you have that we need to keep an eye out on for you?
Oh yes, I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big visionary. So yeah, I've always wanted to write books. Like way back when I had kids, I wanted to write children's books. I'm now, more focused probably on the leadership than the children's, but it's still in that, in the back of my mind there. So there's definitely going to be at least one book coming. So you can stay tuned for that down the road. And I'm also hoping to start a podcast as well to share just with that impact piece is so important to me. And these platforms we have nowadays that we can get on and help as many people as we possibly can and engage with them. It's amazing. So if I can get that going within the next year or so too, that would be amazing for me to just be able to feel like I am putting it out there and helping that many more people.
Yeah, you're going to be wonderful at it. You're going to have so much fun doing the podcast.
Thank you. It seems fun. Yeah. I don't know much about it yet, but I'm learning. So
it's fun. So if you had a superpower for just 24 hours, one day, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I always feel like I'm being chased by the clock. So I'd probably want to be able to just stop the clock briefly or make it longer, or make days longer. I don't know. I just feel like every year I get older, the time is flying by. Like even talking to you about my daughters from the time I started this entrepreneurial journey till now. Oh my gosh, how is this happening? How do I have a 20 and almost 18-year-old? So if I could stop time just for a bit, it would be amazing. Yeah. And I mean, having lost my parents, it's so hard some days because they were such intelligent and just visionary type people too, and so supportive. If I could have some kind of superpower to just bring them in for a conversation and a big hug every once in a while, that would melt my heart and just mean so much to me. So
yeah, so I think I've touched my heart more than I've ever touched my heart with anybody, because you're just so heart-centered, and you just always come up with the sweetest things. I'm like, okay.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
What's one fun fact about you? We already know your heart-centered, but what's one fun fact about you that can counteract maybe this heart-centeredness?
I get asked that a lot, and I find it tough to answer because I'm like, there's nothing that exciting or fun. But one thing that my parents always used to tell me, and people don't believe because I've been this athlete for most of my life and I walk through life pretty gracefully and whatever, but I am the biggest klutz. Like I trip over things that aren't there. I fall, I bruise myself, like walking through a path. I hit the doorway almost every time. I don't know what that's about, but
Well, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I was a dancer. My parents said that if I didn't have dance shoes on, I was a klutz.
Yeah, sounds very familiar. Mine were like, I don't know how you're as good of an athlete as you are. Like as soon as you come off the court, it's like yard sale.
So you did basketball, am I right?
I did basketball, volleyball, badminton, track, like I did it all. Tennis, yeah. But volleyball is actually my favorite.
Okay, but you did basketball, so I'm gonna tell you how bad I was at basketball.
I love it.
I was really good at like getting it in.
Yeah.
But I got confused.
Oh
which way
no.
we were going.
Oh no.
So I used to go the wrong way and make the basket for the other team, and that counts for them.
Wow. Well, you know what? I think we probably all did that at some point in our career of basketball, right? Like, it's
My
tough
God.
sometimes to keep your head on straight there. I don't know why they make us switch sides anyways, partway through.
It was just too confusing,
Weird.
and they had to yell at me and everything, and I think my basketball career was over when I
Well,
did
you
that in,
know,
I think, 8th grade, so yeah.
at least you had the skills to make the shot one way or another.
That was too funny. Alright. So, alright, what about a favorite book?
Oh my gosh. So depending on where I've been in my life, the books kind of resonate differently. So of course, like I'm a huge Brené Brown and Simon Sinek, like Start With Why. You got to read it if you haven't. That one's so good at just figuring out, instead of us always focusing on the hows and the whats and how we're going to be faster and what, it's all about like that inner purpose. Like, what's the why? What are we doing this for? What's the greater meaning? I love that. And that's very much aligned with my work that I do today. So it's pretty cool. Brené Brown's all her Dare to Lead, like she's just got such amazing insights. It's like every moment's like a mic drop, right? Like just boom, there it is. Take that. I love Mel Robbins' new book, Let Them. That's
That's a good
amazing
book.
right now. And
Mhm.
then one that I always go back to, and I don't know how many people have heard of it, but it's a daily Stoic guide, 366 meditations, words of wisdom, whatever,
Oh,
by
wow.
Ryan Holiday. And when I was in the midst of kind of restarting over through the divorce and the real estate, my broker at my office gave it to me and said, I think this will really help you because I can see you're just so overwhelmed and you're vibrating up here and it's just such this newness and you're going through so much stuff. And it was a 1 page a day. And at that point, I felt like I didn't have the time to read and, really reconnect and just take that time out. So 1 page a day. And it was, dated for every day of the year. And it's beautiful. It came with the old school philosophy of the Stoics, and then it had more of a modern day kind of paragraph or two that just kind of brought it in and helped with the self-reflection. And it was amazing how many days I was like, is there a fly on my wall? Like, how is this exactly the right day with what's going on? So yeah, it's a very powerful one. And I pull it out, probably every other year and read at least parts of it when I'm going through a lot of change, or I feel like I just need that little bit of grounding or inspiration. It just is a great quick way to do it in the morning.
I love that. I can't wait to get that and read through it. That's gonna be
Mhm.
amazing. At least especially since I can do one a day. That makes my life
Absolutely.
easy.
That's why I
Mhm.
loved it too. Everybody can read for a quick page, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So what about a song? Do you have a song of songs that you like?
I love music and I love to dance and I sing sometimes too. So music is big. I've probably been to like, I don't know, 85 live concerts already in my life. It's crazy. Um, and there's different ones again through different parts of my life. As a kid, I loved that Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. And I've belted that out at so many different times in my life. It's such a good beat and just anthem type thing. And then when I was going through all my personal development, a big section of my life for about 5 to 7 years, I did a whole bunch of them just trying to rediscover and heal and, learn more about myself following the divorce. And our theme song at this graduation of our advanced mastery class for our group was Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Ooh.
And I love that one because it's that you got one shot, like, let's do this. And it's got the cool beat at the beginning. And then with my daughter and I, we have this one, Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire. This Girl's on Fire. And we got to go to the concert together. I took her a couple of years ago in Vancouver. And her and I have always had this thing around Alicia Keys, but I find Alicia Keys to be such a grounded, lovely, just warm-spirited person. And when she's performing and that song is so powerful, it just speaks to me. Like, and for women, This Girl is on Fire. Like, let's go. Like, that's when your soul is just singing to you, right? So,
And she's real down to earth, by the way,
oh,
and very
such a
sweet.
beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
actually reading her biography right now. My daughter got me that recently,
Yeah.
and yeah,
So I was a manager for XM satellite way back when,
yeah.
yeah. And so they actually they always sponsored her. And when she came, I was able to go. So she's so down to earth and
Oh,
so
yeah,
sweet.
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I adore her. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yep. Amazing. All right. What about a favorite quote?
Oh my goodness. So there's a couple I have, and I'll share my favorite one from what I'm doing right now is left for the signature talks and stuff. I'll leave that so it's not a spoiler. But I've got one on my computer screen here. So the one I had on my first business card for real estate, I just love because it speaks to how we carry ourselves through the world and how we show up. And it again, connecting the dots backwards, like we keep talking about slap, slap. Here we go. And it's by Jay Danzy. And he said, your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and how you leave others after having an experience with you is your trademark.
Ah.
And for business and for life, I just like that one hit me hard. So that was on the back of my real estate business card. And then the one really that talks to me every day with what I'm doing now is that Ralph Emerson's, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be, because we all have a choice. We all get to decide who we're going to be. And when you get aligned and in touch with your values and what's most important and that calling and purpose, that's who you get to be. You get to go out in the world and share that with everybody.
Even your quotes are heart-centered. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
You just stay true to who you are.
Oh, it's just, it's funny how when you stop resisting what the universe is throwing at you, how easy it is to just be yourself. Like that's where I almost cried when I sort of like came to this realization, after going through so much challenge and fear and doubt and all the stuff with these flips and rolls and like, what am I doing? And what am I going to be when I grow up? I'm such a loser. Like, when am I ever going to figure this out? And, you finally get to that place and it's like this weight lifted off your shoulders. And it's like, I'm just going to be me. And it's healing when you start to talk about it and just let it come out. And who cares who's judging you? Who cares if everyone agrees? It is so authentically aligned with who I am, what I'm doing now. And I'm sure you can tell by my energy and passion. I could talk about it all day. But yeah, I'm very grateful for the experience, for all the support I've had, and just the friends in my life that have pushed me in all the different directions that have worked out and not, but like led me to other, things that led me to where I am today. And yeah, it's just, I'm very grateful. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I think you've answered the next one in just what you said. How do you stay motivated? I
Yeah.
mean,
You know what? It's doing what you love. Like figure out what lights you up. Like what gets you out of bed in the morning. If money wasn't an issue at all, like that's the first way to figure it out, right? If money wasn't an issue, if you didn't have to worry about taking care of your kids or taking your dog out for a walk, if you could just do you, what would it be? That's the thing that keeps you motivated if you can keep going. And then for me, it's just like watching, like when I watch someone have an aha moment in these sessions I do, or these leadership programs, it is so inspiring, and it just literally makes me so happy to watch the growth and hear the questions and see that curiosity going on in their brain, like witnessing human growth. That's what I think even posted about this on LinkedIn the other week. Witnessing human growth is probably one of my most favorite things on the planet. It's just, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
again, heart-centered, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
So I'm primarily on LinkedIn. That's been my go-to from the beginning. I love the network there. I love just the vibe. It's very authentic and genuine for the most part, way less salesy. So that's where you can find me at Jen Sellar on there. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, same thing, at Jen Sellar. I'm working on a website, so that's coming soon. And yeah, I've got some tools and other programs I'm working on that are going to be all through LinkedIn advertised as well. So
That'll be great. And is there anything else you want to leave our audience with?
I just want to tell everyone to take the pressure off yourself. I think that's the thing I'm seeing the most everywhere I look. This world is so crazy right now. There's so much dark and heavy going on around us. And if you can maintain some light in your world by taking the pressure off yourself, surrounding yourself with good people, and just really trying to give yourself grace as you move through this, feel all the feels, move through the emotions, and just be the best you can be for yourself, show up for yourself, and it's going to ripple through your life. It's going to have a positive impact everywhere you take that.
Jen, you are a blessing. Thanks for being on here.
Oh, thank you.
Loved having you.
Thank you. So much my pleasure. Big hugs all the way across the screen.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.